Okay, so you're thinking of bringing a dog into your life. That's so exciting, but also a big decision, right?
Absolutely. And that's where this dog trainer Bible come in, promising to be the ultimate guide from picking the perfect pup to some next level training techniques, all for less than the price of a bag of premium dog food.
Right. Like, sign me up. But let's be real. We've all seen those online ads promising the world. So before we hand over our credit card info, we really wanted to dig into what this Bible is all about.
And that's smart because not all dog training resources are created equal. What's fascinating here is that they don't just jump into sit and stay. They actually dedicate a significant chunk to you, the owner.
Okay, that's interesting. Tell me more.
Well, they emphasize understanding your lifestyle, prepping your home for a dog, and even selecting a breed that really fits your living situation. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, which is a refreshing change.
I was just thinking that. Because so many guides seem to assume everyone lives on a farm with endless time to dedicate to training. This sounds a bit more realistic, a bit more tailored to those of us juggling, life and a dog.
Exactly. They even have a quiz to help you narrow down which breeds might be the best fit for your personality and lifestyle.
Ooh, a quiz. I love a good quiz. Did we take it?
We did, but we'll get to that later. First, let's talk about their approach to training. They talk a lot about positive reinforcement, which basically means focusing on rewarding the behaviors you want to see more of instead of punishing the ones you don't.
Which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Dogs thrive on positive attention, right?
Exactly. And this dog trainer Bible really emphasizes that. They even suggest using a clicker and high-value treats to mark and reward desired behaviors. Have you ever used a clicker in your training?
I haven't, but I've heard great things about it. It's supposed to be super effective. Okay, so they're all about positive reinforcement. They've got this whole breed matching quiz. Anything else that stood out in this first section?
Well, they spend a surprising amount of time talking about the potential downsides of dog ownership. Not just the cute puppy stuff, but the chewed up shoes, the vet bills, the potential for things not working out.
Which honestly is kind of refreshing, because so often we get caught up in the fantasy of the perfect dog. We forget that it's a real commitment.
Right. And they really want you to go in with your eyes wide open. They even dedicate a whole section to the financial responsibility of owning a dog, which, let's be real, can be a lot.
So true. Between food, vet care, toys, treats, it adds up quickly.
It really does. And they break it all down for you so you're not caught off guard later on.
Okay, so they're focusing on the owner's lifestyle, the importance of choosing the right breed, responsible dog ownership. It's a lot to take in, but in a good way. It feels like they're setting you up for success, wouldn't you say?
I'd agree with that. They're laying a solid foundation before they even get to the nitty-gritty of training commands.
Which makes me even more curious to dive into the actual training methods they recommend. But first, let's talk about those 37 ebooks they keep mentioning.
37 ebooks. There's that number again. All right, let's unpack that.
I mean, that's a lot of reading, even for the most dedicated dog lover.
It definitely sounds overwhelming, right? But remember, this dog trainer Bible aims to be a comprehensive resource. They're covering everything from basic obedience to more specialized topics like puppy development and even dealing with aggression.
So it's not just about teaching your dog to sit and stay.
Not at all. It seems like they're trying to cover every possible question a dog owner, especially a new one, might have. For instance, there's a whole ebook dedicated to understanding canine body language.
Oh, that's so important. I've been guilty of misinterpreting my dog's signals before. Like, I thought she was asking for a belly rub, but she was actually feeling anxious.
It's surprisingly easy to misunderstand what our dogs are communicating. This guide provides a breakdown of common postures, facial expressions, and even tail wags, helping you decode their silent language.
See, that's the kind of practical information I'm looking for. So we've got basic training breed selection, canine communication. What else stood out to you in terms of content?
Well, there's a heavy emphasis on positive reinforcement techniques, which we touched upon earlier, but they go beyond just clicker training. They delve into different types of rewards, how to use play effectively, and even how to shape more complex behaviors through successive approximations.
Successive approximations. Okay, now you're just using fancy words to sound smart. Break it down for me.
Basically, it means breaking down a complex behavior, like teaching your dog to fetch your slippers, into smaller, more manageable steps. You reward each progressive step towards the final behavior, gradually shaping it over time.
Ah, that makes sense. So instead of expecting my dog to magically know how to fetch my slippers from another room, I'd start by rewarding him for just looking at the slippers, then for touching them, and so on.
Exactly. It's about setting your dog up for success and making learning fun for both of you. And this Dog Trainer Bible seems to emphasize that positive learning approach throughout its content.
I like that. It feels a lot more humane than some of the old school dominance-based methods.
Absolutely. And speaking of humane methods, they also dedicate a whole section to dealing with common behavioral issues, like barking, chewing, and even separation anxiety.
Which, let's be real, are often the things that drive dog owners crazy. Was there anything in particular about their approach to these issues that caught your eye?
Definitely. They seem to advocate for understanding the root cause of the behavior rather than just trying to suppress it. For example, instead of just punishing a dog for barking, they encourage you to figure out why they're barking in the first place. Is it boredom? Fear? Territoriality? Once you understand the underlying reason, you can address it more effectively.
That makes so much sense. It's like with human behavior, right? There's always a reason behind our actions, even if we don't realize it ourselves.
Precisely. And they offer practical solutions for addressing those root causes, like environmental enrichment for boredom, counter-conditioning for fear, and so on.
Okay, so we've got training basics, breed selection, canine communication, positive reinforcement techniques, and even behavioral problem solving. Phew. They really aren't kidding with this whole comprehensive thing, are they?
Not at all, and we haven't even touched upon the bonus materials yet. Remember those audio programs and fillable templates?
Right, the audio programs, what are they all about?
Well, they cover a range of topics, from puppyhood to senior care. One that caught my eye was the one on canine first aid. It could be super handy to have that information readily available in case of an emergency.
Oh, totally. Like, what do you do if your dog gets stung by a bee or eats something they shouldn't have? Having those first aid basics at your fingertips could be invaluable.
Exactly. And as for the fillable templates?
Please don't tell me it's another 130 dog treat recipes. As fun as that sounds, I'm not sure my oven can handle that kind of pressure.
Don't worry, it's not more treats this time. Think more along the lines of training logs, meal planners, and even checklists for vet visits.
Okay, so maybe not the most exciting things, but potentially helpful for staying organized.
Exactly. They can be a good way to track your dog's progress, ensure you're consistent with their routine, and even have all the important information handy for your vet appointments.
Okay, I see their value. Though I have to admit, part of me likes the fly-by-the-seat-of-my-pants approach to dog ownership. But maybe that's why my dog still steals food off the counter.
Well, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. But hey, if these templates can help create a little more structure and maybe prevent a stolen sandwich or two, maybe they're not a bad thing.
Fair point. So all in all, it sounds like they've covered just about everything but the kitchen sink in this dog trainer Bible, wouldn't you say?
They've definitely gone above and beyond in terms of the sheer volume of content. But the question remains, does the quality match the quantity? And are their training methods truly effective? That's what we need to delve into next.
All right, let's get into it. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how many ebooks you have, but whether they actually help you build a better relationship with your furry friend.
Yeah.
So we've established this dog trainer Bible is jam-packed with content. But the real test is, does it deliver on its promises?
Right, because it's one thing to have a mountain of information.
Yeah.
It's another thing entirely if that information is actually helpful, accurate, and easy to apply.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make or break this Bible.
Absolutely. And one thing that struck me as we were going through the material is their emphasis on consistency and patience in training.
Which, let's be real, are not always my strong suits.
Well, they're nobody's strong suits all the time, but they really drive home the point that dogs thrive on routine and predictability, and that rushing through training or expecting overnight miracles is a recipe for frustration for both you and your dog.
Okay, that's good to know, because I'm definitely guilty of wanting to see those Instagram-worthy results like yesterday.
Right. But they break it down in a way that makes sense. Like, instead of getting discouraged if your dog isn't nailing stay on the first try, they encourage you to celebrate the small victories, even if it's just a second or two of stillness.
So it's all about those baby steps, those incremental improvements over time.
Exactly. They even have a whole section on setting realistic training goals, which I thought was super helpful because it's easy to get ahead of ourselves and then feel defeated when our dogs don't live up to our unrealistic expectations.
Okay, so patience, consistency, realistic goals. That's a good foundation for any kind of training. But what about the actual techniques? Did anything stand out to you in that department?
You know, for a guide that's so focused on positive reinforcement, they actually dedicate a decent amount of space to addressing those what-if scenarios. You know, like what happens when your dog just isn't responding to treats or they're completely ignoring your perfectly timed clicker.
Right, because those moments definitely happen. And they can leave you feeling like you're failing as a dog owner
Exactly. But what I appreciate is that they don't shy away from those challenges. They offer concrete solutions like reassessing your reward system. Maybe your dog isn't motivated by the treats you're using, or maybe they need a higher value reward for certain behaviors.
So it's all about understanding what makes your individual dog tick.
Precisely. They even suggest things like incorporating play into your training sessions or finding ways to make the desired behaviors more rewarding than the unwanted ones.
So it's not just about blindly following a set of rules. It's about being adaptable and figuring out what works best for your unique dog.
Exactly. They even have a whole section on troubleshooting common training problems, which I thought was super valuable because it shows that they understand that training isn't always linear or predictable.
Okay, so they're addressing the challenges, they're emphasizing patience and consistency. They're even encouraging adaptability in your approach. But the million-dollar question is, are these expert tips actually effective? Have their methods been proven to work? Don't get me wrong, personal experience can be valuable, but it's always good to have that scientific backing as well.
Absolutely. And I think that's an important takeaway for anyone considering this dog trainer Bible. It can be a great starting point, a springboard for further research and exploration, but it's essential to approach it with a critical eye. Do your own due diligence and maybe even consult with a certified professional trainer if you have specific concerns or challenges.
Right, because at the end of the day, every dog is different, and what works for one might not work for another.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of dog training. It's a journey of discovery. And this dog trainer Bible might be a helpful guide along that journey, but it's ultimately up to you, the owner, to be an informed and compassionate leader for your furry friend.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the Dog Trainer Bible. We've covered a lot of ground, from the sheer volume of content to the actual training methods they recommend. But ultimately, the decision of whether or not to invest in this resource is up to you, dear listener.
Just remember, the most important thing is to approach dog ownership with an open mind, a loving heart, and a willingness to learn and grow alongside your furry companion. And hey, if those homemade dog treat recipes actually work, let us know.
Yes, send us pictures of your perfectly behaved pups enjoying their gourmet snacks. Until next time, happy training.